This is a step-by-step walkthrough on how to make this gorgeous back loop single crochet chevron stitch. This stitch is a little bit dense because it's single crochet, but it has that really nice drapey texture of back loop stitches, and that texture is on both sides, so it's going to make a really squishy, heavy, drapey blanket or scarf, whatever project you would like to make with it. This is a 1-row repeat stitch. So we have our foundation row, and then after that you repeat the same row over and over. In my opinion, it's going to be very easy for you to memorize the stitch count, so you can work on this while you watch TV or listen to your podcast. And my only recommendation for this stitch, if you are not used to making chevrons, is that you have to get your increases and decreases perfectly. So I really recommend you are using stitch markers to mark your increases. This stitch has a multiple of 13 plus 5. So each one of these repeats is 13 stitches wide. So however wide you would like to make your project, just multiply that number by 13 and then add 5, because we need 5 extra chains to begin with to make our beginnings and ends of the rows correctly. Let's go ahead and get started with the foundation row. We will be doing the beginnings and the ends together, but for most of your setup row, you will be following this pattern. That is 3 single crochet into the chain below, make 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 chains, skip 2, make 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 chains, and then start over. So your next chain right here will have your 3 single crochets placed into it. Now when you reach the end of your setup row, you should be skipping your 2 chains, making 5 single crochet, and then you'll only have 3 chains left in your row. And we'll do the ending together to finish it, and then you'll move on to row 1. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm chaining 31 for this sample. Skip the first chain. That's going to act like your turning chain. Into the second chain, make a single crochet. Work carefully into the back bump so that you'll have a smooth, even edge on the bottom of your project. Then make another single crochet into the next chain. So that's 2 single crochet in a row. Skip the third chain, and then make 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 chains. So skip chain number 3. Now, why did we make 2 single crochet and then skip 1 chain? That's like a miniature half repeat on the edge of the project, and we're not going to be following that pattern again, so you don't have to worry about that. So you've just made 5 single crochet across the next 5 chains. Into the next chain, make 3 single crochet into the same chain. If you like, it is a good idea to place your stitch marker right into the middle or the second crochet of that stitch. For chevrons, it's going to be really important to remember the exact place you placed your increases, and you'll want to be placing your increases into the middle stitch, that second crochet in the space. After you've placed your 3 single crochet into the same chain space below, make 5 single crochet across the next 5 chains. As you can see, that clear chevron shape is already starting to take form. After you've placed your 5 single crochet, skip the next 2 chains. Then place 5 single crochet into the next 5 chains. So skip these 2 right here. And start working into the 3rd chain away from your hook. After you've made your 5 single crochet, place 3 single crochet into the next chain space. And what's happening right here, we have just restarted our pattern. So you've just made that 3 single crochet into the same space, 5 more single crochet across the next 5 chains, skip 2, and so on and so forth. Actually, this lines up all right, and you can kind of see what we're doing here. See? So go ahead and make 5 more single crochet, skip 2, 5 more single crochet, make your increase of 3, and keep working until the end of the row. And when you reach the end of the row, you should have 3 chain spaces left. So I'll meet you at the end and we'll do it together. Here we are at the very end of the setup row with stitch markers in the middle single crochet of each of those increases. We have 3 chains left. Skip the next chain and make a single crochet in each of the last 2 chains. And why are we doing this? This is like a little half repeat of our pattern on the edges of the pattern. Just like at the beginning of the row, you made 2 single crochet and skipped 1. Now we're at the end of the row and we skip 1 and make 2 single crochet. This is your setup row. Now move on to row 1. You will be repeating row 1 over and over for the rest of the project, so don't come back to this step. Before you begin the next row, check to make sure that your increases and decreases are in the right spot. It is extremely noticeable when you mess this up on a chevron pattern, and it's best to fix it now. To begin row 1, turn your work. Chain 1 for a turning chain. For the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches of this row, you will be making a single crochet into both loops. That's the normal single crochet you're used to making. For the first 2 stitches, make a normal single crochet. Both loops. Skip the next stitch. And for the rest of this row, until you reach the last 2 stitches, you will be exclusively making back loop stitches. If you're not familiar with how they work, they're extremely easy. Instead of picking up both loops, you will only pick up the back loop. Continue with row 1 by making 5 back loop single crochet stitches. Hey, I'm in editing here, and as you can see, I distracted myself and I did not skip that indicated stitch. So right after you make your 2 normal single crochet, skip the next stitch and then proceed with making your 5 back loop single crochet. The next stitch ahead should be the middle single crochet of that 3 crochet increase you made. Into the middle stitch of the last increase below, make 3 back loop single crochet. 1, 2. 2 is the middle stitch, and we'll be working into it again, so place the stitch marker now. And 3. Make 5 back loop single crochet into the next 5 stitches. Skip the next 2 stitches. The next 2 stitches you skip should be directly over the 2 stitches or chains you skipped in the row below. Skip the next 2. Make 5 back loop single crochet. The next stitch, once again, will be the middle stitch of the increase you made last time. Place 3 back loop single crochet into that middle stitch. 1, 2, replace the stitch marker, and 3. Place 5 back loop single crochet, we've reached the end of row 1, or perhaps you'll have many more repeats to go until you reach the end. But at the end of row 1, you should have 3 stitches left. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, and into the last 2 stitches, place a normal single crochet. That means picking up both loops. And why do the beginnings and the ends of the row have a crochet with both loops instead of just the back? That is because front or back loop crochet stitches are very drapey and very flexible, and that's a beautiful texture for a blanket, but on the edges of the work, they can get pulled really far apart and kind of end up looking sloppy, or like the blanket is more ragtag than it needs to be. So the edges are done with a little bit of a tighter, neater stitch to keep everything looking really nice. You have reached the end of row 1. To continue your project, keep repeating row 1 over and over. You will see that the wavy texture switches sides every other row, creating a beautiful, lovely, dense, drapey blanket or scarf or whatever project it is you're working on.